Let's see in this second video how we can begin to use this method and apply it to analyze a problem. I chose the winter flu as a potential problem. Let's look at the different steps that take us from the initial idea of a potential problem to the definition of a real problem worth being explored. Let's take the example of the winter flu as a potential problem. Of course, we know it's a real problem. The chain of question and answer we must follow, as we saw in the first video, is it a problem? So if it's a potential problem, what are the symptoms of this problem? What are the symptoms of the flu? How these symptoms impact people? Which populations are impacted? Specifically by which symptom, and what pain do they feel? First question. We detect flu via the symptoms. There are several symptoms of the winter flu, but we can say that you have fever, you have tidiness, and you have joint pain. The question to follow will be how these symptoms can impact people. Still, we could come with a long list of the impact. For the sake of example, let's say that people, when they get the flu and the symptoms of the flu, they are incapacitated. Things they used to do, they cannot. They cannot go to work. They cannot go to the gym. They cannot go and meet people. They are contagious. And sadly, some people can die from the flu. We have identified the impact of these symptoms. Now, which populations can be impacted? Of course, we could come with a long list, depending on how narrow we want it, how specific we want it. But let's say that you have kids, elders, working people. So now the point will be which population will be impacted, and they are impacted selectively, differentially, because elders, all population, they are contagious. Kids, working people, elders, when they get the flu, they are contagious. But for elders, actually the main impact can be death, because statistically speaking, people who are old can die from flu. And this has happened. Thousands of people die every year from flu. Of course, kids or adults can also die from flu, but this is really a minor result, a minor impact. Now, when we look at the kids and working people, they share the same impact beyond being contagious, that they're incapacitated. Kids cannot go to school, working people cannot go to work. So if we take this group, working people, as an example, so we narrow actually the population, the question will be, when these working people are impacted by the flu, what do they feel? What is the pain they feel from being impacted? We saw the impact is being incapacitated, being contagious. The pain now for working people is different. The pain is not that they get the fever. It's not that they get contagious. It's what they feel. And for instance, they can feel useless. They used to go to work, they love their work, and they want to contribute to the company, to do whatever they're doing. And because they must stay home, because they are exhausted, because they are contagious, they feel that they are useless. Or they feel poor because they must go to work to be paid and get the money. And maybe if they cannot go, they cannot get the money. And that means now the main pain, the main concern is, okay, how do I pay the rent? How do I pay for the kids, etc., etc.? Or they can feel also disconnected because being contagious, being incapacitated, they must stay home. And they're part of this project, let's say a startup company, there may be a project leader, and they know the team is working on it, but they are not part of it, and they cannot help, and they cannot share the energy of working on this project. So this is what the type of pain they can feel. So at the end, we can, and of course, still the sake of example, here we can identify actually what is a real problem. One real problem, because there could be different problems. People in startup companies feel disconnected. That's the pain they feel, a specific population, when they must stay home because they are reported sick. If it's a problem, so of course in real life we'll have to go out and we'll have to visit and interview people in startup and say, okay, what is a problem? If you must stay home because you're sick, you're not too sick. That means you can work, but you cannot come to work because you are contagious, etc. So is it a real problem? And we could identify a lot of potential problems which would have to check. So this is how we come to the definition of a problem we want to address. And when we have that, now we can begin working on the solution adapted to this problem, because our solution is not designed to cure the flu. It will be designed to address the problem that people in startup company, they feel disconnected when they get the flu, and they're sick, but they're not too sick, and they want to stay connected and they want to be part of the work, but they cannot do it because they cannot come to the company. So we'll see in the future video, the last one, how we can build actually the other side of the innovation, which is the solution side.